Let's start with the Bills defense versus the Dolphins offense. Bills, again, with a dominant victory, their third dominant victory in a row, but this one was against the highest quality of opponent. 48-20 was the final in this one. So maybe we just start with kind of the comparison, because you look at what the Miami Dolphins did offensively, and they still almost had 400 yards of total offense.
Yeah, that's right. I know.
They ran the ball pretty well.
Right.
They threw the ball
even on a bad
250.
day. It's still like, whoa, they're so dangerous.
But the first 3 weeks, they were averaging 550 yards of total offense. And so the Buffalo defense did slow them down, did make life difficult. But how did they do that, and what exactly did the Bills show us this week?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing is, and of course, I think we hit a little of this on Sunday night, right? Like, Buffalo's real. Buffalo's real. Like, I'll certainly tell you here that, I didn't expect them to look like this. The two middle linebackers are awesome, okay? Teron Johnson, their nickel back, is one of the best nickels in football. I'm not sure their middle linebacker combination, and this is no disrespect to Tremaine Edmonds, who signed a big contract with the Chicago Bears, but I'm not so sure they're not better. Just for their scheme, what they do, what they need in their scheme, they got, maybe a little bit smaller with this group that they got there now, but they're faster and maybe more aggressive and being able to shoot gaps and stuff like that. All right, so their front seven, which they play nickel all the time, is a pretty special group. The depth in their D-line is real. Guys like, Shaq Lawson, A.J. Epinesa, who are now backups, which add to their depth. They're having awesome years. They've popped the last 3 weeks every time I've watched film here of them. The guys in the middle, Ed Oliver so far to me is having the best year of his career. Greg Rousseau here through 4 weeks is going like, hey, this is why I was the first round pick. So they're having guys that have stepped up to the plate and gone, wait, I need to be better than what I was last year. Then you talk about the addition to Leonard Floyd, right? So the personnel. And if we're just going to start at basics, I would just go, the first basic thing is that the front seven of the Bills won the fight against the Miami Dolphins, right? And then off of that, didn't let some of the tactical things that the Dolphins did and have done to other teams, especially in the run game, they didn't let that expose them. Right now, what I would say was the Dolphins, if you play too deep, right, where we've talked about it a little the first few weeks, they're different because you go, they can run it this year. Last year, you played too deep, they were just like, we're still going to throw it. We're still going to throw it. They've done this year we're not going to let people get away with that. And they've gashed people in the run game. Buffalo was able to play too deep, and because their front seven was so good and some tactical, maybe a slot blitz off these tight splits they do or something every now and just to disrupt things, was just the right blend. But you heard me last week. Like, how many times were the Broncos going to let their end guy in the line of scrimmage get cracked down block, right? And they were going to let the ball go outside, and it was going to be a corner. Like, oh, no, I'm now the number one edge defender, and I got to stop the guard and the running back here, and I'm a corner. I'm supposed to be covering a guy down the field. Buffalo didn't let that happen the whole game, right? When they got in those type of splits, Leonard Floyd or whoever's the defense end, they moved out, and they said, I'm right over you, wide receiver. You think you're going to block me down? And, of course, that didn't happen. So proper adjustments, getting hands on receivers, like I talked about. You got to – we always talked last year, right, with the Dolphins and the Eagles. You got to take a few – I'm going to blitz and do this here, even though it leaves me vulnerable in a spot or two. But they're so good and have so many answers. We got to take a chance like this every now and then. And they were good at that too. Like, they got in a few defensive alignments where I was like, man, the D-line's like really pushed over one way. And then, the guy that was off the, looked like he was covering the wide receiver off of a tight split kind of close to the tackle, he'd blitz. So now that edge is taken care of, and they have guys for the strong side because they pushed everybody over, right? So they did good things like that. I think that was the biggest thing, as far as just if you had a base thesis of the day and what they did there.
So this is why I like this so much, because sometimes you learn things like other teams can take advantage of and how to slow down the Miami Dolphins. And then there are situations like it sounds like what you're describing here is the Bills are kind of built with the way their front line played, front seven played.
Right. The way they're coached.
The way they're coached is that they might be able to slow this down, and other teams may or may not be able to do some of the same things here.
Agreed.
Because you said also in your notes, you noted that the Bills' communication pre- and post-snap was incredible.
Incredible. They're all over. Now, they've always been so good at that, but, the Dolphins test you like no other team, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's like, of course, you have to have bright lights on Tyreek Hill. Rules change. He's here on, stacked behind a receiver. Oh, now he's over here by himself. A whole different route tree goes off. You got to change change coverages, change fronts, because they package it with certain runs and everything that way. Phenomenal that way. And then, as we've talked about, the ball gets snapped, and 4 guys move 4 different ways, and it's like you could just see they're point the ball was snapped, and they're pointing like, hey, he's coming here, and they were talking and all over it.
Yeah.
So they made no mistakes that way, and that's where they were really good too.
If you can figure out out a way, and you noted this too again,
right?
You said when the Dolphins are third down or have to do straight dropbacks, they are not the same offense.
They are not.
However you want to get that done,
right?
And the Bills did it their way. However you want to get that done, they have more of an issue then.
That's where you have to do it. There's 2 things. I think I said it to you a little on Sunday, that jump out to me when you play the Dolphins. I said it at least in Football Night in America when I was talking about the game. Is one. What did you just say there? What were you just saying there? I lost my train of thought. You were okay. So one, you got to get them to third down. That's what I was like.
Yes.
Wait, where am I at? Third down. You got to do that. Yes, because now the threat of the speed sweeps and some of their crazy runs, and then some of the screens, like, it's gutsy to call that on 3rd and 7. Right?
Yeah.
Coaches aren't going to call that. They're going to have to really see something or take a chance, because they're going to go, wait, man, if I throw a screen here and we get 1 yard on 3rd and 7, it's kind of stupid. I got to give myself a different chance. So there's some things out of the playbook a little bit in those situations. Plus, the play action fake does not have the same effect. Right now, the D line's not going to stop and go, oh, they've been given the green light. Go get the quarterback. Right. So all that is not going to matter as much. Some of the moving parts aren't going to matter. And usually on 3rd down, because of that, the Dolphins are more stationary, right? And now it becomes a little bit more like McDaniel can't just trick it up so much. It's a little bit, hey, here it is. And now, hey, we know you're going to throw, and Tua's got to maybe throw, into a tighter window. And we know like arm strength is not his number one thing there. So that's just, again, it's not like it's a guaranteed thing, but it's one way to look at it and go, okay, if we can get them there, we do have some things working for us. And then the other thing you heard me say, I think on Sunday night, hands up. Hands up are a huge thing with this football team. I mean, think about their game. It's here. It's right. It's a little play action. Oh, over the middle. Oh, over there. Oh, over the middle there. Oh, in the seam, right? And then if you have guys like Gregory Rousseau and everybody who, he's a giant. He's the Jolly Green Giant there. He's sticking his hands up. Oh, now it's 2nd and 10. Now we're 1 play closer to getting you into that 3rd down position we talked about.
Yeah.
And they did a very good job of that, let alone, as we always talk about with any good offense, right? You can't let them get in a rhythm of like, hey, we're in this formation and they're kind of playing this coverage against us. They ran every 2 deep coverage known to man. Every 2 deep, every combination you can imagine, every version of 2 deep, everything. So even though you're calling 2 deep plays as Mike McDaniel, you're going, wait, these are nuanced. And some of these are like, yeah, this kind of works for 2 deep, but it might not work against the 2 deep I just saw the last time. So that's another where they did a really good job of at least keeping them off of balance as much as they could with their 2 deep coverages that way.
Well, a couple things too. So there were not as many guys open downfield. Tua probably had to take a little longer. He was sacked 4 times against the Buffalo Bills. He had been sacked just 1 time in the first 3 weeks combined. You noted that the Bills had a really good idea of where the hot route was too.
Definitely. I'm glad you brought me there, because that is the other thing that goes into like some of the tactical blitzes, right? Where you go, ooh, man, they're going to blitz and kind of leave him there. But McDermott's a master also of breaking down protections. He really is. And then this has been him throughout his time there in Buffalo. So once he starts to get a feel, oh, the back's here and they slide here, or this is here and they slide there, right? He'll feel comfortable, again, with some of those tight splits. Let me blitz a guy off the edge. They're not going to have anybody for him. And, okay, I might give a completion up, but it's not going to let anything develop downfield to where we're covering Tyreek Hill for 4 or 5 seconds. And it's like, oh, my gosh, I'm pulling my hair out. Can we do this much longer, right? So what happens now? They blitz somebody off the edge. Oh, wait. Oh, I got to throw to that guy hot. Well, they've seen all week on film that you blitz that guy. They kind of know their hot rules. Mm-hmm. And now, okay, Micah Hyde's coming down. Yeah, you caught a ball, but it's like you caught it and you turn around and you get tackled and it's a 3-yard gain. And that's a successful thing with Miami when you're playing Miami. You're like, okay, I'll take that. It's better than him sitting back there and us having to defend these fuckers running around at 1,000,000 miles per hour, right? So, again, those tactical chances, I think, are very smart. And I don't think they they might have all-out blitzed a few times in the game, but for the most part of the game, like I said, it was 4-man. It was blitz 1, drop 1. As they got more and more comfortable and they saw their D-line was kind of whooping butt, they stopped doing anything at all, and they just said, go get them, and that was good. And then, every now and then they might blitz 2 and drop 1. But, of course, their main concern of the day was to make sure that they had people in coverage. And their guys at the second level, like I told you, Bernard, Milano, and Teron Johnson are phenomenal, and they can cover a lot of ground run game and cover a lot of holes in those quick little seams that the Dolphins find in the pass game.
Yeah, Milano, 10 tackles, forced a fumble. Bernard, 5 tackles, had the fumble recovery. They did have an interception. Micah Hyde at the end of the third quarter. I know you took a closer look at that mistake. The lone interception in the game for Tua.
I think like Tua there, they're getting a little impatient. He's trying to make a play happen. Clearly the worst decision of the day, right? It was a clear Tampa 2. Here's a great picture. Good job, Pete, finding this here. There's Tampa 2, classic, right? All right, and here's another point off of this, okay? What did we say last week? Remember I was saying, like, the Broncos didn't even touch their receivers. They just let them fly down the field.
Right.
Look at what we got here. You got a guy up on the slot, right, who's running the vertical, who Tua's going to throw the ball. He's just got around Teron Johnson. And look at the bottom here on the 30-yard line. Tyreek Hill, right? He really wants to throw to Tyreek Hill inside over the middle, short, right? But Milano played him inside and was like, you're not coming inside of me. You might go around me inside of me, but you're not coming inside of me free and just going to catch the ball on the run, and we're going to be all running after you like you're, the road runner here, right? So those are, again, the little things, and playing the correct leverages with coverages. Here's Tampa 2. They know, Tampa 2, teams like to, the middle linebackers going to drop down the middle of the field. Teams like to throw to that voided area over the middle. They're smartly coached. They're well coached. So they said, you're not coming in here, or you're not coming in here easily. You're not just going to get the ball and boom and see you later. So here, just another great example. But yes, this was not his best read here. Now, what I think he is probably thinking, and here you see, Bernard's fast, so he can run with these guys up the seam, and that makes it a little tight, and Tua sees that, so he tries to throw it high to get the ball. I think this was to Smythe. I can't remember who he was throwing to exactly, but as you see, he throws it too high, and it falls right into Micah Hyde's hands, and an easy interception for him.
Yeah, led to a touchdown for the Bills after that, and then
that was kind of
Dolphins
went right.
Turned over on downs. I think the last 3 drives they had after that.
Yeah, right.
So.
That was kind of all she wrote right there. That was the moment when you felt like, ooh, okay, they got this game. The Dolphins are in trouble, and the Bills should handle this, barring something stupid or crazy that way.
All right, there it is. Be smart like the Bills, have some talent, and you too can only give up almost 400 yards against the Dolphins and just 20 points.
You're just trying to make them punt a few times, like 1 time a half, 2 times a half. If you're like that's almost how you have to approach it. Can we make them punt once or twice? Can we make them settle for a field goal? Right? And that is the big thing, I think, in playing them. But they did an incredible job really throughout. And I think, Leonard Floyd's addition and now the depth they have. And like I said, now Shaq Lawson and Epinesa are not starters. They're backups. And those are incredible backups to have, right? And now you're going to throw in Von Miller into the thing here coming up this week. It sounds like he's going to play. I mean, I'm blown away, And then, you talk about the big guys in the middle as far as Ed Oliver, like I talk about. Their second group of guys, Jordan Phillips and Tim Settle, they do a good job in the middle there. So they really... I want to say and apologize to Buffalo that they're better than I was expecting.
Yeah.
I misevaluated, and they're definitely one of the best teams in football here through 4 weeks.
The Bengals should have been our playoff team from last year that was going to take a step back.
That I maybe canceled them out, right?
We should have canceled them.
Yeah.
Bills take on the Jaguars in London coming up this weekend, so we'll see what they can do to Trevor Lawrence. His life will not be fun.
No, it won't be. And their offense, like we've talked about, are close, but don't have it clicking totally here. And, this is going to be some challenge for them with this group coming to town. Buffalo, you could tell, is feeling it right now as a team. They're chippy. They're flying around. They're confident. And I mean that not only by what I'm watching on film, but what I hear and see, talking, interviews, what I read. There's a mojo in Buffalo right now that I like, and I'm believing in as of right now for sure.
And the Dolphins have a get-right game against the Giants coming up, so that'll be good for them. Their schedule works out for them.
How dare you?
Pete does not like that one. All right, so that's good. We learned some stuff there.
Yo, what up, homies? Thanks for watching. Remember, subscribe to Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Right now, we got Sunday pod, right? So you can have it Monday morning. We recap all the action. Wednesday, it's the What the Happened podcast. We're going to get deep in the weeds on the key matchups of the week. And then Thursday, I'm picking games with that jerk Floria. So you know where to find us, homies. Keep watching. Peace out. We'll see you.